25-lap race. And a good start by Patrick Hayek, who goes wide to the left to make sure he gets a good sweep, and that does work. And Patrick Hayek getting that early advantage over Rick Drazen. That's kart number 6 I think I'm seeing there, which is Paolo De Conto. Rick Drazen in 3rd place. 4th place is Bas Lammers, and in 5th place kart number 5 is Jorrit Pex. Oh, and some contact early on. That was Paolo De Conto getting a little bit of a touch on the driver in front of him. Well, Paolo De Conto in 2nd place, just had a little nudge on Patrick Hayek. I'm sure it was just incidental contact. These things do happen. But Patrick Hayek in kart number 10 has got 1.5 kart lengths lead on Paolo De Conto in 2nd place, Rick Drazen in 3rd place, Bas Lammers in 4th place, Jorrit Pex in 5th. In 6th place, it's kart number 17, which is Ben Hanley, and we complete the opening lap. In that order. And but for Emil Antonsen, the Norwegian driver who was a non-starter, everyone is safely through the opening lap, the full extent of the course. Patrick Hayek then, his first examination will be potentially by Paolo De Conto, and now it comes, and De Conto does take the lead. Oh, and a brilliant piece of driving by Rick Drazen to say, yes, I'll have a piece of this as well. So now Paolo De Conto leads, Rick Drazen is in 2nd place, and pole sitter Patrick Hayek is relegated to 3rd place on lap 2. So Paolo De Conto driving the Birel TM leads from Rick Drazen. Patrick Hayek looks over his shoulder. Bas Lammers does his particularly deep, low dipping of the head against the wind resistance, and Paolo De Conto getting a couple of lengths on Rick Drazen. This is lap 3, very, very early days yet, and Paolo De Conto immediately setting a fastest lap at 53.2. Rick Drazen's done a 53.33, but significantly quick. Now a driving standards flag I think is going to be shown, and I'll try and identify who that's against. In the meantime, Rick Drazen is the driver you see on screen. Behind him is Patrick Hayek in kart 10. Bas Lammers in kart number 4 is in 4th place. Just behind Bas Lammers, that CRG suit is being worn by Jorrit Pex. There's the driving standards flag, and I think that's gone to Ben Hanley. Ben Hanley of Great Britain getting a driving standards flag very early in the race. Well, that's rather like a soccer player getting a yellow card in the first 5 minutes of a 90-minute race. And Bas Lammers looking for a way past Patrick Hayek and very nearly finding one. Fastest lap as well there for Bas Lammers. Well, Bas Lammers definitely serving notice on Patrick Hayek that while the other two have run away a little bit in front of him, that Bas the Dutchman would rather not be held up by the Czech Republic driver. And Lammers, this is the scrap for 3rd and 4th that you're looking at. Patrick Hayek in the very beautiful blue shade. Do like that royal blue shade. Holding the advantage in 3rd place over Bas Lammers 4th. That is Jorrit Pex going through. Older of the two Pex brothers racing this weekend. Younger brother Stan racing in the junior class. Well, Bas Lammers didn't find a way past Patrick Hayek. This is lap 5. So round about 18% of the race distance covered at this stage. So still very, very early. But Paolo De Conto and Rick Drazen are a full second ahead of these two. Well, it doesn't look like it on that screen, does it? But Paolo De Conto was 0.66 of a second in front of Rick Drazen. And Rick Drazen had 0.4 of a second on Patrick Hayek and Bas Lammers. So they certainly don't want to let De Conto get a lot further away than this. And as our television picture shows, Paolo De Conto has got a decent lead here. He increases it to 0.76 of a second, 0.759 of a second. We're on lap 6. We're still looking at the first 4. Those two in shot are Patrick Hayek being pursued by Bas Lammers. In front of Patrick Hayek, you see our second place driver, Rick Drazen. Now, not for one moment would I suggest that Rick Drazen would not race to win here. Of course he would, he is a racer. But a second place finish in this race would be the 3rd consecutive second place finish for Rick Drazen, and that would be good enough to win the championship. However, Rick Drazen, when we say second place isn't at all bad, says yes, but I want to win. Paolo Di Conto in first place has a margin of 0.76 of a second and has a decent lead as we move into lap 7. Paolo Di Conto in shot, the Birel chassis in the red and white livery, and as an extra clue, the word Birel large on the back of his race suit. Nice action shot though, and you saw there that Paolo Di Conto really had to work hard, didn't he, on the extremities. A little bit of smoke coming out of that kart number 6. Well, Paolo Di Conto's Birel TM serving him well so far, but definitely a little bit of smoke emission. Hopefully that's not going to be an issue for him. Rick Drazen in second place in kart number 9. Patrick Hayek in third place in kart number 10. Bas Lammers in fourth place in kart number 4. Jorrit Peks in 5th place in kart number 5. And these 5 clear of the rest. Now, I'm going to invite something to happen on the tarmac, because I'm going to look away to the timing screen, tell you that Ben Hanley is 6th, Marco Ardigo 7th, Mirko Torsolini 8th, Jordan Lennox Lamb 9, and Flavio Campaneschi completing the top 10 at number 10. All the starters are still circulating, and this is lap 8 of 25. Rick Drazen in shot here is in second place behind Paolo Di Conto, but in terms of championship standings has a lead of 6 championship points. So it's not in the bag for Rick Drazen to just sit calmly there. He wouldn't want to lose too many places, but second place and not a victory would be good enough. But as I say, when you talk to him at the press conference, yes, second place is good championship points, but hey, I want to win. I want to be standing on the top step of the podium. A very, very good picture there of the crest of the hill, the climb up to the start line and the drop away from the start line. Dead straight, but most certainly not dead flat. Bas Lammers there you see in shot, and Jorrit Peks getting a little bit closer. Bas Lammers has got a little bit detached from Patrick Hayek, and Jorrit Peks is closing up somewhat. See if the CRG driver gets to put a pass on the Formula K FK Perilla of Bas Lammers. Jorrit Peks did just look as if he was going a little bit quicker. Let me have a peep at the timing screen. Jorrit Peks has just done a 52.157 and Bas Lammers a 52.3. So yeah, Jorrit Peks is going a little quicker than Bas Lammers. There is 17 Ben Hanley in 6th place in front of Marco Ardigo. Number 7 you saw there, nice shot of David Foré. David Foré started in 22nd place and has driven up to 13th. Good drive from the back against the odds by David Foré. Rick Drazen you see here to the left of your screen in second place. You saw Paolo Di Conto briefly at the front. Patrick Hayek in third place. Rick Drazen and Patrick Hayek got 0.348 of a second between them, as our caption on screen shows. Patrick Hayek and Bas Lammers 0.7. A lot closer between Jorrit Peks in 5th place and Bas Lammers in front of him, fellow Dutchmen. This is the start of lap 11. 10th lap completed, 15 looking over his shoulder there was Henri Coco of Finland, and he is running in 11th place. Jonathan Tonen up to 12th, David Foré up to 13th. Rick Drazen is in shot in kart number 9. That's Zanardi Perilla. And in some ways this is an ideal situation for Rick Drazen, because although he's a long way behind the race leader, Paolo Di Conto, he's not in a tight situation. He's got plenty of clear tarmac in front of him. And although Patrick Hayek is not so far behind him, he's not in a position where he's climbing all over him, so to speak. So Rick Drazen with a sort of pressure off stroke pressure on situation. The concentration crucial, as our caption shows you. He does lead the championship standings at the moment, It's by 6 points from Marco Ardigo. Marco Ardigo is in 7th place. So by no means is this a championship won. It could certainly be lost. Seamus Udavicius in KZ2 proved that. And as the caption at the lower right of our screen shows, WSK Promotions on behalf of CIK-FIA, the promoter, and myself, Ken Walker, thank WSK Promotion for this excellent coverage that we're getting. Really good pictures from here in Kristianstad. I hope those of you that are tuned in online are enjoying the pictures like this. We're showing you the heart of the action. This is Rick Drazen at the bottom of your screen. Bas Lammers, Jorrit Peks. Here's Rick Drazen again. This is 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th. Bas Lammers in 4th place on screen now. Lap 13 of 25. So we're just into the second half of the race. Jorrit Peks, who looked to be applying pressure on Bas Lammers 2-3 laps ago, is now detached a little bit, and Bas Lammers in 4th place looking relatively safe. I say relatively because, hey, absolutely anything can happen in just half a lap in kart racing, and we've got more than half a lap to go. We've got half a race to go. But for the time being, so far, so good for Rick Drazen in 2nd place, and so far, very good for Paolo De Conto in 1st place. His lead is 2.5 seconds. The reason we're not showing you a lot of shots of Paolo De Conto, it's not that we've got anything against Paolo, but he's on his own. There's nobody to race with. But the scrap for 2nd and 3rd, and this one we're looking at for 4th and 5th, showing a lot more action, and we think that you would probably find the closer racing a little bit more interesting. On lap 14, Jorrit Peks, 1.5 kart lengths behind Bas Lammers, maybe 1.25. Rick Drazen's kart number 9 there, showing the vibration. Yeah, let's just have a look at that, the instant replay, clipping that. This is the inside of the chicane. Now, the tight chicane is on a climb, so you don't just go right, left, but you go right and clip that quite high inside curb and bouncing on. Of course, the other physical feature of this circuit, look at the climb up the hill from the final turn to the start line, and then of course the drop away to turn 1. Bas Lammers being pursued by Jorrit Peks are the drivers on screen as we speak to you on lap 15. Bas Lammers finding that Jorrit Peks is a lot closer than he was a lap ago, and Jorrit Peks just beginning to show the sort of signs that suggest there might be a potential pass. Jorrit Peks in 5th place in kart 5, Bas Lammers in 4th place in kart 4, Patrick Hayek in 3rd place in kart 10, Rick Drazen in 2nd place in kart 9, and way over the hill, Paolo De Conto in kart 6 in a big lead of over 3 seconds now. And there's the move by Jorrit Peks. Jorrit Peks, but is he about to lose it back to Bas Lammers? Bas Lammers has got the inside, no, and Jorrit Peks makes it stick. So Jorrit Peks goes into 4th place. The threat of moving into 4th place has been alive for several laps, and Jorrit Peks executes it on lap 15. So Jorrit Peks now 4th place. We're looking again. Bas Lammers just moving off the inside line, and Jorrit thought, well, that'll be my move. It's on the approach to the final turn, and just managing at the end of lap 15. Bas Lammers fought back well and got alongside Jorrit Peks, but by the time they'd gone all the way up the hill and down the hill to turn 1, Jorrit Peks had the advantage of the inside turn. And Jorrit Peks now putting a couple of kart lengths between himself and Bas Lammers. Lap 16 of 25. Paolo De Conto, our race leader, on that Birel TM, having, well, I don't know, a lonely race, having an exhilarating race, having an easy race, having an anxious race where it's hard to hold your concentration. Who knows? We'll have to ask him a little bit later on. Was it easy? Was it easy to hold your concentration? Using his body movement a lot, isn't he? It's not just a plain easy drive, he's really working in the seat of that Birel. But Paolo De Conto not looking over his shoulders at all, not trying to see if anybody's around. He'll be aware of the lack of an engine noise around him as he comes over the start-finish line. His lead was 3.28, it's now 3.48. So Paolo De Conto not only leading this race by a big margin, he's increasing his lead. This is lap 18, and Rick Drazen, who you see on screen now, in second place. And Marco Ardigo is still in 7th place, and Marco Ardigo would be second in the championship standings at the moment. So Rick Drazen does have a little bit of a cushion to spare in championship points, but hey, you don't dwell on that for too long, otherwise complacency or the wrong strategy can kick in. And in any case, I'm absolutely sure that Rick Drazen, if he's given up the thoughts of chasing down Paolo Conto, will certainly see the advantage of staying in front of everybody else and having the advantage of empty tarmac in front of him. Jorrit Pex goes through 4th, Bas Lammers 5th, Ben Hanley 6th, Marco Ardigo 7th, Mirko Torsolini 8th, Flavio Camponeschi 9th, and Jordan Lennox Lamb still in the top 10, just in 10th place. Just outside the top 10, Jonathan Tunnon 11th and David Foré 12th. Best of the Swedish drivers, Victor Åberg running in 14th place. We had Swedes in the previous classes going really, really well. Douglas Lundberg, a race winner in KZ2, but Victor Åberg only in 14th place. Freddie Karlsson in 18th and Andreas Fors in 19th, the best of the Swedes. All of our 23 starters are still running. Emil Antonsson was a non-starter. The other 23 are all circulating. We have had nobody go off the circuit, either for mechanical defects, either being fetched in or whatever. Well, there is Rick Drazen in shot once again. Patrick Hayek in 3rd place, getting a little bit closer, Patrick Hayek, isn't he? Patrick Hayek not in a position where he could win this championship, but certainly in a position where he might feel he could go for 2nd place. Gets closer, doesn't it? Really does. 0.25 of a second at the end of lap 19. From our television pictures, that looks as if that might even be a little bit less now, although sometimes our pictures do foreshorten the race distance. I'm going to try and peep out the window. Well, no, I think that's a fairly faithful recreation. Here they are at the brow of the hill, and Patrick Hayek potentially in a position where he could put a pass on Rick Drazen, or perhaps that's the wrong thing to say, where he could attempt a pass on Rick Drazen. 3.8 seconds, as our caption shows you, is the advantage that Paolo De Conto has in the front over the 2nd and 3rd place drivers. Only 0.16 of a second between Rick Drazen and Pat Hayek. Well, this is lap 21 of 25, and spelling it out in championship terms, Rick Drazen, if he in the next 5 laps, 4.5 laps, can maintain this status quo, would be frustrated once again in finishing 2nd and not 1st, but would be the champion. Patrick Hayek maybe still thinking there's opportunities for me. Bas Lammers with that low dip of the head finds Ben Hanley getting a lot closer now. Ben Hanley in 6th place. Incidentally, Marco Ardigo has been passed by Mirko Torsolini and Flavio Camponeschi. So what, you might ask me? Well, Marco Ardigo drops championship points by going from 7th to 9th, and Patrick Hayek does go past Rick Drazen. And if Rick Drazen thinks to himself, well, that's a championship point that's been spilt, Marco Ardigo, his closest rival, has gone from 7th to 9th and has spilt 2 places, not 1. So although he's just been passed by Patrick Hayek, Rick Drazen has actually strengthened his position at the top of the championship standings. Well, he pretty much let Patrick Hayek through there, didn't he? I'm not trying to take any credit from Patrick Hayek for making the move, but it wasn't the most vigorous defence by Rick Drazen. It didn't need to be a vigorous defence. It didn't even need to be a defence at all, because we're on lap 23, and although Rick Drazen is not likely to win this race, he is likely to make the podium, and he is likely to be the champion. But nothing's certain yet. Your commentator is always conscious of the commentator's curse, so I was talking in terms of might and could rather than will. Lap 23 and Paolo De Conto's lead is up to 4 seconds. There he is in shot, just setting off on lap 24. Paolo De Conto, who's really not put a wheel wrong, started on the outside of row 2 and was pretty quickly in the lead. And well, from his point of view, that was pretty much the story of the race. I made a sharp start, I got in the lead early, and can't really tell you a lot about what happened behind me. I was just driving along empty tarmac to what is hoped by him and his team to be a race victory. But still, these guys choose to take that short route through the uphill chicane. 2 wheels leave the circuit. But of course, whereas that could be a pressure being applied, Paolo De Conto is 3.89 seconds to the good, and he's seeing a sign now saying final lap, last lap, last lap. Looks over his shoulder, does Patrick Hayek, to see that Rick Drazen isn't so close as to want to make a challenge. And it does look as if Rick Drazen will simply choose. Kart number 15 you see coming into shot is Henry Coco. And Marco Ardigo has gone out of the race. Marco Ardigo has gone out of the race. Jonathan Tonen now is second in the championship standings, but this driver in shot, Paolo De Conto, never mind the championship. Let's follow the Birel TM round to his closing stages of the race. He's in the technical complex now, turning left. He's got one more fast right-hand sweep at the bottom of the hill, climbs up the hill, onto the home straight, picks out his team and says, I'm the winner, I've won this one, and I may not be a championship contender, but I've beaten everybody else. Rick Drazen, though, he knows the score, and the score is, yes,